Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And especially today we'll be looking at the pastimes of these three supreme personalities.
So as we were in chapter number 3 of MadhyaLila, we saw in the last session, the first section, Lord Nityananda diverts Lord Chaitanya. So we saw that how Lord Chaitanya, after taking sannyas, he was so eager to go to Vrindavan. And there he finds Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu sort of tricks him. He uses those young boys also to tell a different direction or trajectory to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And then he also arranges Advaita Ācārya to come there for a pickup, and then finally they all they are taking Caitanya Mahāprabhu to Shantipur, the village of Advaita Ācārya. So today we would be beginning from the second section, verse number 41 to 78. Lord accepts prasad at Advaita's house. प्रथमे पाकर्यचेन आचार्याणि विष्णु समर्पण कैला आचार्यापानि. All the eatables were first cooked by the wife of Advaita Ācārya. Then Srila Advaita Ācārya personally offered everything to Lord Vishnu. So as we have been talking about Chaitanya Charitamrta and how it is like a Vaishnav etiquette manual, how we are supposed to behave like a Vaishnav, how the devotees act. So here Advaita Ācārya and his wife Sita Thakurani, they are actually teaching us, as whatever is cooked, the wife nicely and lovingly cooks, and the husband comes there and he personally offers everything to Vishnu. So everything what is cooked in the house is cooked with the intent that this is bhoga being prepared for the Supreme Lord. So there is no self-interest there. Everything is cooked with Krishna in the center.
And I found this purport to be very, very, very interesting, as if Prabhupada is forecasting the future, because Prabhupada says that in this verse we should learn the ideal householder life. Now these are the ideals. What are the ideals that as a grahastha or a householder it should be followed? So the first thing that Prabhupada writes is the husband and wife should live together. Now Prabhupada is writing this purport in early 70s. Right, and we see that this is a challenge, with some families. At least the challenge is there. The husband is somewhere, the wife is somewhere. Prabhupada writes this point: the husband and wife live together. So, just by reading it, we will not. That point may not strike. But then Prabhupada makes a point here that the husband and wife should live together, and then Prabhupada points out that the service of the husband in the family is that he should do very hard work and arrange all the required paraphernalia for Lord's worship. So his purpose of going out of the home, doing hard work, is not to collect so much of wealth for personal enjoyment, but to arrange all the items for Lord's worship. And the wife, she takes up all those ingredients and arranges an amazing service for the Lord, taking care of the altar and cooking nice bhoga, so cleaning, all that service is taken care by the wife. So so both of them work as a wonderful, very, very wonderful team. And then the husband offers the bhoga to the deity, and then the aarti is performed, and then the bhoga is served as prasadam to the family members, to the guest. And Prabhupada makes a point here that every grahastha should have a guest. Now that is another thing, which modern families struggle with. If there is a guest, they should call, confirm, take an appointment, then come. And Prabhupada was recounting his early days when he was young in Calcutta. He said every day we would have at least 4 guests at home. And he was saying that my father was not really earning much money, but whatever he was earning, within that, every day 4 guests apart from the family would be fed. So Prabhupada was saying that this is how, if we keep Krishna in the center, this is the meaning of keeping Krishna in the center, that husband has certain services towards the Lord and the wife has certain services towards the Lord. And this is extraordinary, because as we continue to read this description of the items cooked, then we can actually understand that what scale we are talking about. It is not like our case, some dal, one sabji, some chapati and rice, and some maybe curd. Okay, so we'll see the description, then we can understand that what scale of cooking service was rendered to Lord Krishna by the wife of Advaita Ācārya.
तीन थानी भोग बाड़ाइला समाकारी, कृष्णेरा भोग बाड़ाइला धातु पात्रो पारी. All the prepared food was divided into 3 equal parts. One part was arranged on a metal plate for offering to Lord Krishna. So they cooked everything and then it was divided into 3 portions. And the first portion, it is mentioned that it is arranged in a way that it was ready to be offered to Lord Krishna.
On a metal plate.
On a metal plate.
So here, Prabhupada again points out that this word badaila, means increasing. So Prabhupada said that this is a very, very important word. It is very significant word in this verse, and it means that if actually if we understand the simple logic, if there are 4 bananas, we take away 1 banana, only 3 are left. So if we cook X amount of rice, we take out a portion, so the rice quantity decreases. But here the word uses badaila, Krishna bhoga badaila. which means if at a home, if the food is cooked for the pleasure of the Lord, the quantum only increases. The stock always increases, it never reduces. So this is a very significant point that we need to understand. Batisha atiya kalar angatiya pate duitani bhoga bada ila bhalamate. Of the three divisions, one was arranged on a metal plate and the other two were arranged on plantain leaves. These leaves were not bifurcated and they were taken from a banana tree that held at least 32 bunches of banana. The two plates were filled very nicely with the following kinds of food described below. So as it was mentioned earlier that there was a division, there was a metal plate and then there were two banana leaves, and here there's a description that it was not some ordinary banana leaf, but it was from a particular tree which had at least 32 bunches of bananas on it. So from that tree only these banana leaves were taken, and they were not bifurcated into. Sometimes you go to South Indian marriage, sometimes you serve the full, mostly we are served the full leaf only, Sometimes they will split into half and give also. But here it is not split, the whole leaf is placed, and then very nicely the food stuff is kept there.
So the whole point is we can imagine the size of the banana leaf. That is the whole thing. That if the banana tree is holding 32 bunches of bananas together, so how huge that tree would be, how big
Huge and healthy.
Huge and healthy, and how big the leaves would be. And these leaves, again, Krishnadas Goswami is describing that these leaves, one, they were so huge, and second, don't think that they were huge, so they were divided into two. So the whole leaf was taken.
And it is very interesting. Only later this mystery will be solved, that why there are three. One metal plate and two banana leaves. Madhyapita grita sikta shalyamira stupa charidike vyanjan donga aramudda supa.
The cooked rice was a stack of very fine grains nicely cooked, and in the middle was yellow clarified butter from the milk of cows. Surrounding the stack of rice were pots made of the skins of banana trees, and in these pots were varieties of vegetables and moong dal. So now the description is beginning. The author is beginning to describe the food. So first, the center was this
stupa.
stack.
Annara stupa. like
stoop.
we have Kanchi stupa, no?
Stoop type, like so much of
big mound
of rice. And
when I asked Dipankar, he said mountain of rice.
So mountain of rice, and in the middle there was so much of ghee, the yellow ghee, freshly made from the milk of the cow. And then, so this was in the center, and the surrounding area. Now bananas, the banana tree skin, with that these, what do you say?
Pots were made.
Yeah, these days we get these disposable containers. So these disposable containers, 100% organic and natural disposable containers, in which varieties of vegetable and moong dal was kept.
And I was also thinking it's written Mugda Supa. Is the soup word coming from here only?
Moong dal, actually it's significant because moong dal is considered to be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. It's not in the mode, it's beyond the mode. Saradrika Vastu Shaka Vividha Prakara Patola Kushmanda Badi Manaka Chuara Chai Mari Chasta Diya Sabapala Mule Amritanindaka Pancha Vedati Gajale.
Among the cooked vegetables were patol. Patol is in Bengali, what is it?
Parval in Hindi.
Parval in Hindi, I don't know what you call it in English. Yeah, that's that mridanga shaped green vegetable. Okay. And then we had squash, and then manakachu, and we had a salad. V means, Advaita Ācārya's
they had
home. Sachimata, Sita Thakurani, she had prepared, and a salad made with pieces of ginger and various types of spinach.
Wow.
There was shukta, bitter melon mixed with all kinds of vegetables, defying the taste of nectar. Now, this was another very astounding statement. We have bitter melon, and
taste.
the vegetable made from it, the shukta, is defying the taste of nectar. And then there were 5 kinds of bitter and pungent shukta. So if we see the traditional, the Gaudiya Vaishnava feast, we can learn from this. So first, bitter items are actually placed, and that's where the meal starts. So Krishna has been served with bitter items. Of course, rice was served earlier. कोमल निम्ब पत्र साहा भाजा वरता की पटोल फूल बड़ी भाजा कुष्मांडा की.
Among the various vegetables were newly grown leaves of nimba trees fried with eggplant. The fruit known as patol was fried with phulbadi, a kind of dal preparation first mashed and then dried in the sun. There was also a preparation known as kusmand manachaki. So these are the various things which were being offered, and here it is mentioned. So here we have put the picture of patol also, so that our audience know which vegetables are being cooked.
Pretty
there.
common actually.
It's common in North India,
North,
but in South India it's not
North
so
and
common.
East.
Yeah. So that green vegetable is patol, and this is cooked with phul badi. So badi is type of thing. Again, it is commonly used in Eastern and Northern India, where the dal is ground and then they make it is spiced, and then they make small
pieces
and they dry it in the sun, and then they store it. So that is stored over a period of time, like for a few months it can be stored, and whenever they make some vegetables, and then those buddies are added.
Deepangi, you can get a sample, no? Bring. नारिकेलशस्य चाना शर्करा मधुरा मोचघण्टदुग्ध कुष्मान् सकल प्रचुरा. The preparation made with coconut pulp mixed with curd and rock candy was very sweet. So it was made with coconut pulp, curd and rock candy. There was a curry made of banana flowers and squash boiled in milk, all in great quantity. So this is, the dal paste, some spiced, and then it is put in the sun for drying. So this is like a hard chip, and then it is usually fried and then added to vegetable.
Shallow fried. And these things what are mentioned here, banana flour. What is it? Mocha ghanta. So that is banana flour. So that is again a speciality of Bengal, and we are very fortunate. We have a lot of Bengali devotees staying in our vicinity, and we keep tasting these delicacies which is mentioned there directly. Madhuramla bada amla adi pancha chaya sakala vinjana kaila lokeya tahaya.
There were small cakes in sweet and sour sauce, and 5 or 6 kinds of sour preparations. So there we had bitter, then we had sweet and sour, and now we have sour preparations. All the vegetables were so made that everyone present could take prasadam. So of course when Lord was there, and Lord Nityananda was there, and Advaita Ācārya, and we can assume that there were a lot of other devotees, and the quantity was made enough that everybody could be satisfied with the prasadam served. Mudda bada kala bada masha bada mishta shira puli nari kela yata pitha ishta.
There were soft cakes made with moong dal, soft cake made with ripe bananas, and soft cake made with urad dal. There were various kinds of sweetmeats, condensed milk mixed with rice cakes, a coconut preparation, and every kind of cake desirable. So now there are so many varieties being described of sweets.
Batisha athiya kala donga bada bada chale hale nahi donga ati bada bada. All the vegetables were served in pots made of banana leaves taken from trees producing at least 32 bunches of bananas, which means 32 bunches was minimum, 32 or more. These pots were very strong and big and did not tilt or totter. So this was, imagine this was all being done in-house. Right, so the banana trees would be there. From there, the leaves were got. They were converted into donga. Now, this word is again often used in North, which means
Serving vessel.
serving vessel. Yes, not for cooking, but for serving. So, bhoga has been cooked, and then it is being served in these dongas, which were very strong, big, and did not tilt or they did
Bada
not.
bada. Big dongas.
पंचाश पंचाश डोंगा व्यंजने पुरीना तीन भोगे राशे पाशे राखीला धरीना सघृता पायस नावा मृतकुंडी कबरीना तीन पात्रे घाना वर्ता दुग्ध राखे तरीना.
All around the 3 eating places were 100 pots filled with various kinds of vegetable. So Sita Thakurani, 100 pots of vegetables, and not only one, so 3 plates and center rice and surrounded by 100 pots filled with different kinds of vegetables.
300 pots.
Yeah, मतलब ये नहीं कि एक ही सब्जी भर दी है सब में. Different types of vegetable. Along with various vegetables was sweet rice mixed with ghee. This was kept in new earthen pots. Earthen pots filled with highly condensed milk were placed in 3 places.
दुग्ध चिरकाला आरा दुग्ध लकलकी याते का करीला ताहा काहिते नशाकी. Besides the other preparations, there were chipped rice made with milk and mixed with bananas, and also white squash boiled in milk. Indeed, it is not possible to describe all the preparations that were made. So when I was going through this description, I was thinking to myself that after I read all this, I will count, I'll make a list and I'll count. But when I came to this particular verse, then I decided I'll not make a list. I'll not count.
When he could not describe, so how can we count?
Possibly count, yeah.
So here it is mentioned white squash boiled in milk. I think that is lauki ki kheer.
White squash, possibly, or otherwise white squash also known as safed kaddu.
Then they would write pumpkin.
Pumpkin,
squash.
okay, squash, okay. Sometimes in English.
And we have heard about this
dugda
squash.
laki hai na? Correct.
And we have heard about this squash. If you remember, Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, when he was about to take sannyas, the last meal, what he has, when Gola Vecha Sridhar comes and he gives a lauki, and Chaitanya Mahāprabhu requests his mother to make the kheer, and there it was so sweetly described that Chaitanya Mahāprabhu knew that tomorrow he would go. So the devotee has brought with so much of love, so I must consume that. And this is the last thing which he eats before taking sannyas.
So just an announcement, 14th of February is Nityananda Trayodashi, the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. We have a huge description here of different items we made and offered. So you can pick up some items from here and the items that you're good at, and now plan a nice bhoga feast for the Lord on 14th of February.
And while you are planning for the feast on 14th of February for Lord Nityananda, we are planning for a feast for all of you in the form of Nectarian class. So there is a class on 14th February evening 8 p.m. So you can block your timing. We will discuss sweetest of all wonderful pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Dui pashe dhari la saba mrit kundi kabari Chapakala dadhi sandesh kahite na pari. In 2 places, there were earthen pots filled with another preparation made with yogurt, sandesh, a sweet meat made with curd and banana. I am unable to describe it all. So here is a description of varieties of sweets, and we know that in Bengal especially, people are very fond of sweets. So even now, like we visited a village in Bengal, and general visit, and then they arranged like a plate full of some 11 or 12 varieties of sweets. And they gave one plate to each one of us, and they were expecting that we would actually finish those 12 varieties of sweet in one shot. I mean, that was not even like breakfast or lunch. That was just
And they
we
say,
reached
and they said, because you're coming from city, so we give you less.
yeah. And they were saying that this much even a child can eat. Why you can't eat? So much culture of sweets is there.
Dui
No, just
pashe.
read it.
Okay.
अन्न व्यंजन उपरि दिला तुलसी मंजरी तीन जल पात्रे सुवासित जल भरी. Upon the stack of boiled rice and all the vegetables were flowers of the tulasi trees. There were also pots filled with scented rose water. So again, so many unlimited pots, and all these pots had tulsi manjari. So as we know that Krishna accepts the offering only when tulsi is present there. So all the pots were actually having tulsi leaf also. And then for each one of them, there was pot filled with scented rose water. तीन शुभ्र पीठ तारा उपरि वसना हे रूपे साक्षात कृष्णे कराइल्लम.
There were 3 sitting places where soft cloths were placed. So there were 3 plates were made, one with metal, another 2 with banana leaves, and then there was seats were made where the Lord can sit and eat. So there were 3 places where soft cloth was placed, so that it's like an asan where Lord is invited. If the deity is there, then the deity is invited actually to accept the asan, sit, and then his hands are washed, and then the Lord takes the wonderful bhoga which is cooked with love. Thus Lord Krishna was offered all the food, and the Lord took it very pleasantly.
आरती रकाले दुई प्रभु बोलाइला
प्रभु संगे सबे आसी आरती देखिला.
It is the system after offering food to perform bhoga aarti. Advaita Prabhu asked the 2 brothers, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, to come see the aarti. The lords and all others present went to see the aarti ceremony. आरती करिया कृष्णे करला शयना आचार्य श्री प्रभुर तबे कैला निवेदना. So first the aarti was performed. After aarti was performed for the deities in the temple, Lord Krishna was made to lie down to rest. So this is our philosophy. Our as in this is the bona fide philosophy where we know where Krishna is fed, where Krishna is offered aarti, and where Krishna is given rest also. So we all believe, we all know from these scriptures that is how Lord has a personal form. And that is how we meditate on that personal beautiful form, and that is how we engage all our senses in the service of the Lord. So deity worship gives such a unique opportunity to us to connect directly to Krishna, because if we do the deity worship with lots of love and devotion, Krishna actually accepts everything. And we treat Krishna with so much of love that way. And the connection, the relationship deepens when we are doing such elaborate worship. So it is mentioned Advaita Ācārya then came out to submit something to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Koila Nivedan. So there is a request coming up now.
So we can just imagine that so many people who are impersonalist, who are atheists anyway we forget. But those who are impersonalist, who do not accept the personal form of the Lord, all this bliss is inaccessible to them.
Yeah.
They're
Cooking
just completely
for Krishna, feeding Krishna, and doing arati.
Like in the morning, they will wake up the Lord. In the morning in the temple, the Lord is woken up and he's offered some sweets, and then the Mangala Arati is there, and then after that the Lord is offered bathing, the Abhishek, and the Lord is bathed, then he's dressed in fresh clothes, fresh garlands are offered, and Chandan pulp is offered to the Lord, and then there is an Arati, then there is other
offering fruits.
Yes, fruits, and then Arati is offered. So I mean, when we do, as Sugiti was saying, then we develop such a personal, we connect to the Lord as a person. And actually, that is the secret of the unlimited ocean-like bliss to connect with the Supreme Lord in bhakti, devotional service.
गृहेर भीतरे प्रभु
करुणा गमना दुई भाई आइला तबे करिते भोजना.
Shri Advaita Prabhu said, "My dear lords, kindly enter this room." The two brothers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, then came forward to take the prasadam. Mukund Haridasa dui
प्रभु बोलाइला योड़ा हाथ दुई जना कहिते लगिला. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu went to accept the prasadam, they both called Mukunda Haridas to come with them. However, Mukunda and Haridas, both with folded hands, spoke as follows.
मुकुंद काहे मोरा किछु कृत्य नाही सारे
पाछे मुनि प्रसाद पामु तुमी यहाँ घरे.
When Mukund was called for, he submitted, "My dear sir, I have something to do that is not yet finished. Later I shall accept the prasadam, so you two Prabhus should now please enter the room." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very fond of his devotees, and especially Mukunda and Haridas, so that is why he calls them for join us for prasadam. But Mukunda, out of his etiquettes, he said that I have something to do, I'll take later. So he excused
very
himself.
humble, yes. हरिदास काहे मुनि पापिष्ठा अधमा बाहिरे कमुष्टि पाछे करिमु भोजना. Haridas Thakur said, "I am the most sinful and lowest among men. Later I shall eat one palmful of prasadam while waiting outside." So when Haridas was invited, Haridas Thakur, where Lord Chaitanya himself anointed him or gave him the title of Namacharya, the Ācārya of the holy names, what is he calling himself? He's saying, "I am a papishta. I am a very, very sinful person. I am adhama, the lowest among men. So I will not come. I will stay outside and I'll accept one palmful of prasadam remaining outside." So we need to understand that Haridas Thakur, he was born in a Muslim family, and that time the society also was very rigid. There was very clear demarcations between Hindus and Muslims, and there were Muslim qazis who were who would actually spoil the Hindus' dharma, just by putting some water and all. So even when the Muslims were invited to some Hindu house, at that time what would happen is they would be actually requested to be seated outside, and they would be given the prasadam. Dui prabhulana char gela bhita ghare prasade kiya prabhu ananda antare.
So this is the first time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seeing that prasad, which we heard the description just now. Advaita Ācārya took Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within the room, and the two lords saw the arrangement of the prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was specially very pleased.
So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased? The question may arise. So if we go somewhere and we see, wow,
what a feast.
What a nice arrangement is there. What a spread is there. There are 10 starters and 20 main course and 15 desserts. We may say, wow, we have come to the right place, But here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased seeing how wonderfully Advaita Ācārya and his good wife, they are serving Lord Krishna. So they saw that this amazing family is serving Lord with such opulent, in such an opulent way. So that gave Lord so much of pleasure. And Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that the prasadam is not made for people actually. It is, the bhoga is made for the pleasure of the Lord. So seeing all that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very, very pleased, and that becomes more explicit in the next verse.
आयचे अन्न ये कृष्ण के कराय भोजना जन्मे जन्मे शिरे धरो ताहर चरण. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of all the methods employed in cooking and offering food to Krishna. Indeed, he was so pleased that he said, "Frankly, I will personally take the lotus feet of anyone who can offer Krishna such nice food and place those feet on my head birth after birth. So can we estimate the joy, the delight which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing when he saw such lavish spread? He is telling, I mean, he's the Supreme Lord himself. And he is saying that he will take the feet of anyone who offers such food and put it on his head, which means that he would worship such a devotee, birth after birth. How easy it is to please the Lord, please or win the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is describing just by offering and serving Krishna nicely. That is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. Prabhu jane tina bhoga, Krishnera naivedya, Ācārya mana katha, nahe Prabhu vidya.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the room, he saw 3 divisions of food. And that we already saw. There is a metal plate and 2 banana leaves. And he knew that all of these were meant for Krishna. However, he did not understand the intentions of Advaita Ācārya. So this was not known to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he thought that all the arrangement here is for the pleasure of Lord Krishna.
Prabhu bale vaisa tine kariye bhojana, Ācārya ami kari pariveshana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, let us sit down in these 3 places and we shall take prasadam. However, Advaita Ācārya said, I shall distribute the prasadam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, so we all 3 of us will sit separately. Yeah, these plates are there for Krishna and let's sit separately and we will eat. So Advaita Ācārya, being the host, he said, I will distribute the prasadam or I'll serve the prasadam. Konasthane vasi bara anadui pata alpakari ani dahe deha vyanjan bata.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that all 3 servings were meant for distribution. Therefore, he asked for another 2 banana leaves, saying, let us have a very little quantity of vegetable and rice.
Ācārya vaisa dohe pindira upare eta bali hate dhari vasailare. Ācārya, Advaita Ācārya said, just sit down here on these seats. Catching their hands, he sat them both down. So actually this metal plate was for Krishna and the other 2, like same 3 division was there. So the metal plate was for Krishna and the banana leaves for the 2 lords Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. But so far, Mahaprabhu had no clue about it. And Advaita Ācārya knew that Mahaprabhu, when he knows, he would resist that. He would refuse that. We can see the title of this section is Lord Chaitanya's Refusal. So he was aware that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would refuse, and that is why he held their hands and he made them sit down.
So we remember that the banana leaves and the metal plate, so they had made asan with soft cloth. So this is where Advaita Ācārya, the banana leaf, in front of those banana leaves, he made the lords sit.
Prabhu kahe sannyasi ra bhakshanay upkarana iha kaile kaiche haya indriya varana.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it is not proper for a sannyasi to eat such a variety of foods. If he does, how can he control his senses? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has raised a point here that such opulent food, nahe upkarana, so many varieties of food is there, prasadam is there. So Lord said that it is not fit for a sannyasi, for a renunciate to eat. Because if he eats all this, so much energy will come and then the senses will become one may find difficult to control the senses. So that was Lord Chaitanya's reason for refusal. And let's see how Advaita Ācārya counters this point.
Ācārya chhada tumi apanar churi ami sab jani tomar sannyase rabari bhuri. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept the food that had already been served, Advaita Ācārya said, please give up your concealment. What he is saying, chhadi tumi apanara churi. Please give up this concealment. I know what you are, and I know the confidential meaning of your accepting the sannyas order. So he's beginning to convince Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Advaita persuades the Lord to eat.
भोजन करह छाड़ वचन चातुरी
प्रभु कहे त अन्ना खाइते न पारी. Advaita Ācārya thus requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat and give up juggling words. The Lord replied, I certainly cannot eat so much of food. So we remember, right? There was a stupa of rice with ghee and there were 100 pots around each. Right? So that is the kind of spread was there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, certainly I cannot eat so much.
आचार बाले आका पाटे करह आहारा यदि खाइते ना पारे पाते रही बेकारा. Advaita Acharya then requested the Lord to simply accept the prasadam without pretense. If he could not eat it all, the balance could be left on the plate. So like how the mother convinces the child and the child says, oh, I cannot eat, I cannot eat. So mother says, okay, eat whatever you can eat. Leave the balance, but start eating at least. So similarly, Advaita Acharya is saying that eat whatever you can eat and leave the balance. But you sit and eat. Prabhu bale eta anna nari bakhaite sanyasira dharma nahe uchishta rakhite.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I will not be able to eat so much food. And it is not the duty of a sannyasi to leave remnants. So actually earlier, the process, the system was that the sannyasi will go to a brahmana's house and beg, and they will cook. So he will take all that bhoga and he will go to a more isolated place like bank of a river or a lake. There he will offer to the Lord and he will eat completely whatever is there. So he will not leave any remnant. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. As a sannyasi, I cannot leave the remnant. There is so much food I cannot eat. And Advaita Acharya is saying, you leave whatever you cannot eat. And he's saying, I cannot leave it also.
आचार बाले नीला चले खाओ चायुष्मारा एक बारे अन्न खाओ शत शत भारा. So now Advaita Acharya plays his trump card. What he is giving reference to, he is giving reference of Neelachal. Neelachal is Jagannath Puri. So in this connection, Advaita Acharya referred to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eating at Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Advaita Acharya pointed out, at Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate 54 times a day. And each time he ate many hundreds of pots of food. So actually of all the dham, Puri Dham is famous for eating pastime.
Lord's eating, yes.
That is Lord's eating place. So Jagannath is basically pleased by prasadam, bhoga. So as much bhoga we offer to Jagannath and as happy he is, he eats unlimitedly there in Jagannath Puri. So Advaita Acharya is giving the reference that at Jagannath Puri you eat so much. At Jagannath Puri you eat 54 times. And each time you eat 100 pots. And here you are telling that you can't
Hundreds of pots each time.
Hundreds of pots. And here you are saying you cannot eat. So those of us who have been to Jagannath Puri, I'm sure you have visited to that Anand Bazaar. So actually all the bhoga, it is offered to Jagannath ji and then everything comes out.
And thousands of people eat.
Yeah, thousands of people. And it's a whole big marketplace of prasad.
God's food court.
Jagannath's food court, yeah. So unlimited varieties and so many pots and the whole market is only prasad, prasad, prasad. So that is Jagannath Puri. So he is giving the reference of Neelachal.
And sometimes if we visit a Jagannath temple, we enter Jagannath temple and we go to the Garuda Stamba. So just behind the Garuda Stamba is the Bhog Mandap, where all the bhoga is brought from the kitchen and it is placed in the Bhog Mandap, and from there the pandas will offer the bhoga to Jagannath. So after the offering is done, many people are there. Their service is just to carry that offered prasadam to the market or wherever it has to go. And then sometimes if you get an opportunity to see that, it's a huge hall. So imagine that huge hall, there are so many pots of food and rice that are brought in, offered to the Lord, and then they are taken out.
तीन जन भक्ष्य पिंडा तोमार एक ग्रास तार लेखा येई अन्ना नाहे पंचग्रास. Sri Advaita Ācārya said the amount of food that 3 people can eat does not constitute even a morsel for you. In proportion to that, these edibles are not even 5 morsels of food for you. So Advaita Ācārya is giving some equation and he's saying that what 3 people eat is not even 1 morsel food for you when you sit there in Jagannath Puri. So of course this is nothing for you. You can definitely eat. It is just 5 morsels of food.
So I will just, if you just multiply, which means the prasadam kept in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is for 15 people. 1 morsel is 3 people and 5 morsel means 5 3 15 people can eat. So that much of prasadam is kept in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Advaita Ācārya is saying you eat.
मोर भाग्य मोर घरे तोमार आगमना चाड़ह चतुरी प्रभु करह भोजना. Advaita Ācārya continued, by my great fortune, you have just come to my home. Please do not juggle words. Just begin eating and do not talk.
So now Lord has no option.
Eta bali jala dila dui gosair hate hasiya lagila duhe bhojana karite.
Upon saying this, Advaita Ācārya supplied water to the 2 lords so that they could wash their hands. The 2 lords then sat down and smiling began to eat the prasadam. So we discussed that how difficult it was for Advaita Ācārya to convince Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept that prasad, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving the reason that so much quantity and I am a sannyasi, such lavish food and so much quantity and I cannot eat. And we made some simple calculation. It's coming like almost 15 people prasad was expected or was being offered. So that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's reaction. And now in this section, we will see Nityananda's reaction when he saw this much prasadam. I mean, he was seeing and he was observing now, and now he will start talking. And there is a disclaimer when we go through this particular section. Now we need to understand that Advaita Ācārya and Nityananda Prabhu, they are like friends. And they will quarrel.
They will tease each other.
They will tease each other. They will call each other names. And they will criticize each other. Sometimes it happens among very, very thick friends. No, they will call each other and they will quarrel in a very friendly and joking way. So that we are going to experience in this section.
Nityananda kahe kailu tina upavasa aji parana karite chila bada asha. Nityananda Prabhu said, I have undergone fasting for 3 days continuously. Today I had hoped to break my fast. So Nityananda is saying that I thought ki okay, for 3 days, 3 din se main bhuka hu, I did not eat anything. So today at least I will get proper food to break my fast. Aji upavasa haila Ācārya mantrane ardha peta na bhari be grasika anne.
Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking that the quantity of food was enormous, and I mean, why he was thinking, we read the whole description, of course it was enormous. Nityananda Prabhu, on the contrary, thought it was not even a morsel. There Advaita Ācārya is saying it is just 5 morsel food. He is saying it is not even 1 morsel. He had been fasting for 3 days and had greatly hoped to break fast on that day. Indeed, he said, although I am invited to eat by Advaita Ācārya, today also is a fast. So small a quantity of food will not fill even half my belly. What is this? What invitation is this?
Ācārya tumi hao taithika sannyasi kabhi phala mula khao kabhi upavasi. Advaita Ācārya replied, Sir, you are a mendicant, you are a sannyasi traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots and sometimes you don't even get that. You go complete fasting. Daridra brahmana ghare ye paila mushti eka anna ihate santushta hao chad lobha mana.
I am a poor Brahmana.
Daridra Brahman.
And you have come to my home. Please be satisfied with whatever little food you have received and give up your greedy mentality. So this is how they are, joking with each other and they're teasing. Chhada lobha mana. What is this greediness?
You are a sannyasi.
And you have come to a poor Brahmana. Whatever you are getting, just eat. Just be satisfied with that.
Nityananda bale yabe kaile nimantrana tata dite chahayata kariye bhojana. So Nityananda, what he is saying, whatever I may be, I am a sannyasi or I am a mendicant or whatever. So whatever I may be, you have invited me. So it's not my problem. You have invited me. Even if I am a greedy person, you have invited me. Therefore, you must supply as much as I want to eat. So you cannot say that be satisfied in this. Since you have invited, so that is the etiquette that you feed me whatever I want. Yeah, you give me whatever I want. Shuni Nityananda Katha Thakura Advaita Kahe na tahare kichu paiya pirita.
His Divine Grace Advaita Ācārya, after hearing the statement of Nityananda Prabhu, took the opportunity presented by the joking words and spoke to him as follows. So now the criticism will start. Let's see.
Bhrashta avadhuta tumi udara bharite sannyasa laicha bhuji brahmana dandite. Advaita Ācārya said, you are a reject Paramhamsa. So bhrasht, completely gone. You are a bhrasht avadhut. You are a rejected Paramhamsa and you have accepted the renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand that your business is to give trouble to Brahmanas. So he is telling that you have taken sannyas just because you want to eat good food, going to different people's house, going to different Brahmanas' house and exploiting them, giving them trouble for eating. That is the purpose why you have renounced, you have taken the renounced order.
So there are two categories of people. One are Vaishnavas and the other are Smarthas. Smarthas, they rigidly follow the rules. Vaishnavas are more dedicated to the Lord and they see the utility. And for them, utility is the principle, utilizing everything that they can in service of the Lord. And that's why we'll also notice even the methods of calculating the tithis and the festivals and even Ekadashi, you will see that there are, for Smarthas, it will be a day different than many times than when the Vaishnavas are observing. And here when Advaita Ācārya is saying, Bhrashta Avadhuta, you are a rejected Paramhamsa. So actually what he is saying is that actually you are beyond the mundane or the rules which control these Smarthas. You're actually beyond those rules. So you are the real Paramhamsa.
You are Avadhut.
You are Avadhut and you are real Paramhamsa. You are beyond these rules and regulations.
Tumi khete paradasha vishamera anna amitaha kaha pava daridra brahmana. Advaita Ācārya accused Nityananda Prabhu saying, you can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice. I am a poor Brahman. How shall I get so much rice?
Now, one mana is 40 kilos of rice. So, he is effectively saying that you can eat 400 kg to 800 kgs of rice you can eat. So, where I'll get so much rice for you?
ये पांचाशा मुष्टि एकं ताहा खाना उठा पागलामी ना करिहा ना चढ़ाइयो झूठा.
Whatever you have, though it may be a palmful of rice, please eat it and get up. Don't show your madness. Pagalami na kariha. Don't show your madness and strew the remnants of food here and there. So here now they're really getting into it. They're saying, so Advaita Ācārya is saying, even whatever I have offered, if it's just palmful of rice, just eat and you get up. Yeah, don't show your madness here. And don't, strew the food here and there.
He mat hasya rase kare na bhojana
Ardha ardha khana Prabhu chade na vyanjana.
In this way, Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu ate and talked with Advaita Ācārya jokingly. After eating half of each vegetable preparation given to him, Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu abandoned it and went on to the next.
So how he was eating? So there were 100 pots of vegetables, and from one pot he will take half, and balance half he will let it be, and then he will go to the next vegetable.
Sei vyanjana charpona kare na purana ei mata puna puna parivesh vyanjana. As soon as half of the vegetable in the pot was finished, Advaita Ācārya filled it up again. In this way, the Lord finished half of a preparation. Advaita Ācārya again and again filled it up. So it was like top up. So Mahaprabhu finishes half and Ācārya would top it up. And then again half and again top it up. So poor Mahaprabhu.
It's unending.
It's competition, devotional competition.
Dona vyanjan hari kare prarthana Prabhu bale narakata kariba bhojana.
After filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita Ācārya requested them to eat more. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how much more can I go on eating? Ācār kahe ye diyachi taha na chadiba.
Ekhane ye diye tara ardhega kariba.
Advaita Ācārya said, please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now, whatever I am giving you, you may eat half and leave half. So finally, settling, okay, at least you finish half of what is there and then we will see. Nana yatna daine prabhur karaila bhojana Ācārya ichha prabhu karila purana.
In this way, by submitting various humble requests, Advaita Ācārya made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda eat. Thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfilled all the desires of Advaita Ācārya. So actually this is the system, I mean this is exceptional of course, but this is the system of service. So when we are serving our guest, first we should make enough preparation. You know, we just put one sabji and that person finishes and we don't have a second serving. Not just that, and then we insist, no, please take. You know, so that insistence actually becomes an expression of that love and affection. You know, that insist, please take some more. Nityananda kahe amar peta na bharila lana yaha tora anna kichu na khaila.
My belly is not yet filled up. Amar pet na bharila. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it. So that is how Nityananda is saying, I am not full. Anyways, let it be. Let it get over.
Eta bali ek grasa bhat hath lana ujhali pe lila aage ye na krodhana.
After saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him as if he were angry.
Bhat dui chari lage Ācārya ange Bhat angilana char nache bahurange.
When 2 or 4 pieces of the thrown rice touched his body, Advaita Ācārya began to dance in various ways with the rice still stuck to his body. So Advaita Ācārya was in complete ecstasy because his body was touched by the Mahaprasad of Lord Nityananda Prabhu.
Hari, Hari.
And he started dancing in ecstasy and the rice was still there and he was so happy. So with this, we would stop here and we will continue. So this section is not yet over. So if you want to relish this prasadam pastime, join us next Friday and we will continue the session from here. Also, Nityananda Trayodashi special class on 14th at 8 p.m. And we are requesting all of you to cook elaborate feast on Nityananda Trayodashi. See, he is not satisfied with Advaita's offering. So how he would be satisfied with our offering? But then we can pray to Advaita Ācārya and we can try cooking for Nityananda Prabhu. He's a Vidhut, he gets pleased very easily. It's just that we need to have enough love and devotion. So you can all, and Nityananda Trayodasi, it is recommended that we fast
Till noon.
till 12 o'clock in the afternoon we fast, and during that fasting period we prepare as many preparations as possible. We offer everything to Nityananda Prabhu, and at 12 o'clock we perform 12 o'clock we offer, and then we perform the arati, and then we can all sit together and relish the prasad.
In fact, they can offer and 12 o'clock they can do Aarti. 11:30, 11:45 the offering can be done, and 12 o'clock we can offer Aarti.
And those of you who have the deities of Gaurnitai, so you can perform nice abhishek for them.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.